are motoring in terms of our global trade. Thank you for mentioning UK export finance. It's one of the hidden gems that we have in our armoury, but we're bringing it out at every occasion at the present time. We spent £3 billion in UK export finance last year. It's a £50 billion facility, of which we're still only using 20. So we've got a lot of room to use it to promote UK exports abroad and to help with our overseas direct investment. In fact, you only need a 20% UK content to qualify for UK export finance, one of the most generous export credit schemes anywhere in the world, which is why we are now finding we're getting market penetration in all sorts of places where people told us that we wouldn't get before. And when my department was formed 20 months ago, Britain was exporting 27.9% rather, of our GDP, a long way behind Germany's 47%, but not bad for the second rate of the European exporters. And we thought, if we can get to the end of this Parliament and we can get to 31% of GDP, that would be wonderful. Our preliminary figures for last year are 30.4%, up from just under 28%. That is a massive leap for any country in that length of time. And we've got enormous opportunities that I want to come to. So in terms of the Commonwealth, we've got two broad aims. One is to see Britain trade much more with the Commonwealth and get far better goods and services exports into Commonwealth countries than we've seen in the recent past. And the IMF say that 90% of global growth in the next 10 to 15 years will be outside continental Europe. So we need to look to see where that growth will be, because that's where we need to position ourselves, because that's where the earnings will come, so that the next generation can have their public services funded. And we have to understand that it's not a binary choice. You don't have to cut your spending or increase your taxes in a way that is often put to us. You can also choose to increase your earnings as a country. And that's the secret of where Britain needs to be. We need to increase the earnings we get from the sale of our goods and services overseas, and it is looking very positive at the present time. And although it's not part of the Commonwealth, just to give you an idea of the scale, when we handed over Hong Kong back to China, the neighbouring town of Shenzhen had a population of 40,000 just over the border from Hong Kong. I was there 3 weeks ago. It's got a population of 18 million now. By 2030, China will have 220 cities with a population of more than 1 million. The whole of Europe will have 35. It gives you an idea of the scale, and that scale is being replicated right across Asia Pacific and Southern Asia and Africa. And this is where the global opportunities will come. It's where the rise of the middle class will come, the people who will buy the top-end quality British goods and services that we are aiming for. Because forget all this nonsense about cutting standards. It wouldn't make any sense for Britain to cut standards, because people buy British because they are the top end of the market, whether that's goods or services. So it would not be in our interest to see those quality measurements fall. But I imagine from the anti-trade left, this is what we'll get all the way through, which is you want to cut our standards, you want to make us eat goodness knows what, you want to make us wear dreadful things, and you want to totally cut our standards. We have no intention of cutting any standards, because it's the standards, it's that Union Jack that comes on the pack that says this is the quality product that you want to buy. And we are promoting that. That's the first thing. So we want a better trade relationship with the Commonwealth. Secondly, we want the Commonwealth, intra-Commonwealth trade to go up. We want Commonwealth countries to trade more with one another. And we want them to generate wealth that stays in that Commonwealth family. And we have got some ideas as we go towards the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting that we're taking forward. We have just had a really great experience with India. And people will tell you trading with India is difficult, trading with India will be slow, progress will be hard. I'll tell you, nothing could be further from the truth from our recent experience. We set up a new process. It was called a trade audit, we now call it trade review. And basically it says to countries, you want to have a free trade agreement with us, but the distance between us is still too great. So how can we actually audit our trading performances so that we can see where there are impediments to trade, that if you unilaterally change them, would bring us close enough to be able to go for a free trade agreement. It's a fairly simple process. When we started it, we started one with India, we started one with Brazil. We didn't expect India to beat Brazil. in the race, but not only did they do so, we're now into stage 2 of the process, looking at it sector by sector. Such has been the enthusiasm from our Indian colleagues to do this, and it's been a really supercharging experience for us inside our department, and we've got plans to bring an Anglo-Indian initiative, if we can, in time to Chogam, to make sure that we are actually inside the Commonwealth, bringing some of those cutting-edge ideas to how we would improve trade. And we've been looking at how we use UK export finance in places as far away as Mozambique, the only non-English speaking country ever to apply successfully to join the Commonwealth, to see how we can use the opportunities there. Mozambique's growth profile, if I remember roughly, is 1.5%, 2%, 21%, 28% over the next 4 years. They've got the world's 3rd biggest gas supplies, and they're just about to bring them on stream. And the opportunity for UK companies there, not least with the downturn in the North Sea, is absolutely enormous. But we hit a snag.